Straight ahead on OC News, smokers beware. You can't light up on the campus of CSUF, and you can't buy tobacco products at CVS stores. We'll have a full report.
Snow and freezing cold temperatures are causing huge problems all across the country. And here in the OC, we're getting ready for some rain.
Hello and welcome to OC News. I'm Rebecca Walzak.
And I'm Meg Tragan. OC News is brought to you by the broadcast journalism students at Cal State Fullerton. A major retail pharmacy chain has announced that it will no longer sell tobacco products.
CVS, which has more than 7,600 stores across the country, will pull all cigarettes, cigars, and chewing tobacco from its shelves. CVS is the first store to do so.
If you will remember, Cal State Fullerton was the first CSUS campus to ban smoking completely. Our own Kristen Goodwillie is out in the quad to explain the very latest in this story.
It's been almost a year now that Cal State Fullerton decided to ban all tobacco products on our campus. And it caused a very heated debate between the students as signs like this one behind me started popping up all over. And in larger news, CVS has announced they will stop selling cigarettes and all tobacco products. And it's the first national chain of pharmacies to make that decision, to stop selling these tobacco products in their more than 7,600 stores. The president and CEO of CVS attributed this decision to helping their consumers become healthier. CVS plans to stop selling these tobacco products on October 1st of this year. From Cal State Fullerton, I'm Kristen Goodwillie reporting.
A freak accident kills a Cal State Fullerton student. Graphic design student Franz Nalesny was killed Friday night after his car collided with a curb and crashed into a house in Coto de Caza. There was a family of 3 inside the house, but they were not injured. California Highway Patrol officers are investigating what caused the crash. A 35-year-old Yorba Linda resident was arrested Tuesday for suspicion of murder after a woman was found dead in front of a multi-million-dollar home in Yorba Linda. The woman has not yet been identified, and the name of the suspect has yet to be released.
Santa Monica police are cracking down on drivers who do a rolling stop at stop signs and speed through red lights. The department's traffic enforcement unit is focusing on the issue during the month of February. Tickets for this violation range from $190 to $200. David S. Cunningham, a well-known African-American judge, was filed a $10 million lawsuit against UCLA police. After a morning workout near UCLA, he was pulled over by campus police. He states the police officers used excessive force and claims he was shaken, battered, and bruised from the officers. More freezing weather on the snow and blankets of large part of the United States is going on right now. Another wintry blast in the Northeast after winter storms caused more problems in the Midwest on Tuesday. Flights aren't just getting canceled, as CNN's Andrew Spencer reports on a plane that even got caught in the snow.
Snow hit a stretch of the United States from Wyoming to Maine, with parts of Kansas seeing more than a foot of snow on Tuesday. The conditions caused crashes and sent snowplows into overdrive. After all of the trouble the weather caused in the Atlanta area last week, officials in Kansas City, Missouri did what Georgia officials say they should have by asking businesses to stagger employee start times Wednesday morning to ease traffic. Meanwhile, drivers stuck in the snow did their best to help each other.
I was actually headed into work and I got stuck twice. And 2 separate people came out and helped me each time. So whenever I see somebody, I try and help out.
Cars weren't the only vehicles getting stuck. Take a look at this Southwest Airlines jet. It hit a snowbank as it was taxiing to the gate. Nobody was injured, but it certainly didn't help the weather delays for air travelers. FlightAware.com reported more than 3,000 flight cancellations for Tuesday and Wednesday. The storms caused more problems through southern Illinois, Kentucky, and Indiana. Forecasters warn Maine, Vermont, and New Hampshire could also see a foot of snow through Wednesday as the second wintry blast of the year hits the Northeast, with a third one expected early next week. I'm Andrew Spencer reporting.
While most Americans are bundling up against the cold, we are complaining about 60-degree weather. It's been chilly, but for the most part, it's been pretty nice. All that may be changing for us. Amanda Newell is here with the latest weather forecast.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's finally starting to feel like winter here in Southern California. We've been seeing plenty of clouds this week with temps in the low 60s. It's currently 62 degrees outside with a cool breeze and winds ranging around 9 miles per hour. Tonight's lows could cool down into 44. And we'll see the sunset here within the next few hours at 5:27 p.m. Tomorrow, you'll want to make sure you have your umbrellas because there's a high chance for precipitation. By late evening, skies will clear and we'll have dry conditions heading into the weekend. By Friday, we'll have plenty of partly cloudy skies with daytime temps in the low 60s and dipping into the 40s by night. There's a storm system generating up north, as we can be seeing it by late Thursday. We should expect to see about 1/4 of an inch of rain. We'll take all the moisture we can get because we've been experiencing some very dry conditions. Across the nation, the Rockies and parts of Oklahoma will experience some light snowfall, while the Midwest region and East Coast will take a little break from this winter weather. The storm system will receive up north. It will hit most of California. Thursday is much needed since most of California is experiencing an extreme drought. Parts of the Midwest is experiencing a drought as well, but it will be fine. The East Coast has received most of the moisture this winter. At this moment, they don't need to worry about getting into a drought. That's all for your weekday weather forecast. Back to you guys.
Still to come, autopsy results are in on actor Philip Seymour Hoffman.
And Seattle continues to celebrate in a big way, and the Titan baseball team is rated #1. We'll have the details.
Titan TV is a student-operated facility maintained by students.
It's on the Cal State Fullerton campus, and it's a great opportunity for Cal State Fullerton students to get hands-on experience directly in a studio environment.
Working with Titan TV puts me in this professional environment. Everyone here is really fun to work with, and everyone just gets along so well. I'm having a great time.
Titan Radio is Cal State Fullerton's own radio station located in the basement of Pollock Library. Students can stop by and pick up an application during operating hours. Anyone who has a computer and internet can listen to us at www.titanradio.org. A lot of people who want to pursue TV and film usually start out in radio, so it's always a great opportunity.
Seattle continues to celebrate its Super Bowl win. Meanwhile, the talk everywhere else has changed from the game to what is your favorite commercial. Dylan Wano is here with an update on what everyone is talking about.
Hi everyone, I'm Dylan Luhano, and this is what's trending now. Since the Super Bowl aired last weekend, the Seahawks have been trending all over Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. But gaining even more attention are the Super Bowl commercials.
I was surprised that I even got offered the part, because I don't think of myself as like beer commercial babe hot.
Anna Kendrick shows off her improv skills in a parody commercial for Newcastle Brown Ale. The video, which has already reached over 4 million views, was linked to Kendrick's Twitter with the message, and quote, "Newcastle paid me to tweet about an ad they didn't want me to make," end quote.
Am I beer commercial hot? No. But I love a challenge.
Daytime talk show host Ellen showed off her dancing skills in her Beat Super Bowl commercial as a modern-day Goldilocks searching for the perfect playlist.
It was too slow.
The comedian, known for her colorful personality and fun dance moves, used the Beat Sentence feature to find the perfect song and was then joined by some furry friends.
Hello.
Hit play, baby.
Now, and they all danced happily ever after.
Like most actors, my real job is saving the world.
Scarlett Johansson shows us why SodaStream is a better pick for a fizzy drink.
Soda that's better for you and all of us. Less sugar, less bottles.
In an effort to make the video viral, Johansson hams it up and shows us that even drinking soda is glamorous.
Yeah, you doing it. Changing the world, one sip at a time.
Sorry, Coke and Pepsi.
Oh yeah, she done it. SodaStream.
Sorry is right. The SodaStream commercial starring the blonde bombshell came under fire as Fox wanted to pull it from airing because of saying the now infamous line, "Sorry, Coke and Pepsi." Up next, America's most popular doll, Barbie, is under attack. Over the past couple of years, the iconic blonde has created a heated debate on the kind of influence she has on little girls. The lead Barbie designer at Mattel, Kim Coolmone, said, in quote, "Barbie's body was never meant to be realistic," end quote.
Here are 5 of your favorite friends, Barbie, Midge, Skipper, Allen, and Ken. But if you think they're the same as they've always been, you'd better take another look.
Barbie was first launched in March of 1959, with almost every little girl in America growing up playing with the lovable, bubbly doll. Barbie! She has gone through tons of makeovers throughout the years, sparking an outlash on how the doll's body image plays a negative role in the minds of little girls. PlusSizeModeling.com created a Facebook group and a petition which got over 40,000 likes to push for a plus-size version of the doll, creating a Twitter war. Morgan Arnold tweets, and quote, "Barbie is a role model for young girls. Creating a plus-size Barbie allows them to think obesity is acceptable when it's a growing problem," end quote.
And these bendable legs really look so natural, and the way that they move is so lifelike that you really be amazed at all the things they can do, and the way that you pose them is up to you.
The autopsy story?
When asked if Mattel would change the doll, Coolmone said, in quote, "Moms like to hand Barbie outfits down over generations, and changing the doll's body size could seriously mess with that tradition," end quote. Coolmone went on to say the doll's inhumane proportions were made that way simply as a functional necessity, saying, in quote, "So to me, there isn't an objective to change the proportion of Barbie currently," end quote. All right, guys, I'm Dylan Lujano, and that's what's trending now, where I bring you all the buzzing trends in social media, fashion, and music. Back to you guys.
Former NFL legend Joe Namath was criticized by PETA during the Super Bowl for his choice of outerwear. Namath was first seen sporting the fur coat during the coin toss and was reached out by the animal rights organization via Twitter to opt out of fur coats and instead wear faux fur. According to TMZ, the $3,000 coat from New York City Mac Hoffman Furs was purchased by Namath a few days before the Super Bowl. Bruno Mars rocked a golden performance in retro glamour style during the halftime show. The singer sported a retro gold lame jacket paired with a white shirt, black trousers, and a matching black skinny tie by the French fashion house Saint Laurent. The look was topped off with a big and angular hairstyle by his hairstylist Jason Schneidman. Mars and his 8-piece band all rocked the same ensemble, but Mars shone the brightest during the performance.
Just in, the autopsy results on film actor Philip Seymour Hoffman are in. Our entertainment guru, Sarah Tenaran, is here with the latest.
Police arrested 4 suspects Tuesday, 3 men and 1 woman, in a downtown Manhattan apartment building who are suspected of being the suppliers for the deadly heroin. A very sad and unexpected death of Oscar winner Philip Seymour Hoffman shocked Hollywood. A friend found the 46-year-old dead in his bathroom of an apartment with an apparent drug overdose. The Oscar-winning actor was found in his apartment's restroom with a syringe still in his arm and heroin-filled envelopes surrounding his unconscious body. From Broadway to the big screen, Hoffman was one of the most ambitious actors of his generation. Fans mourned overnight, leaving flowers and candles for the beloved actor. Famous celebrities and co-stars also grieved with Hoffman's sudden passing. George Clooney said, "Strangely, the entertainment community was a part of the industry so much that it's just taken such a toll on the whole industry, and it's just been so difficult for him to understand that he's no longer with us." Medical sources say preliminary tests indicate the envelope packets did indeed contain large amounts of heroin, and a private funeral for Hoffman will be held Friday in New York City. Producers for the Catching Fire movie confirmed his passing will not delay the production of the next film. Back to you guys over in the studio.
Thanks, Sarah. Our guest today is Cal State Fullerton student William Camargo. William is majoring in the fine arts with a concentration in creative photography and a minor in journalism. He's been photographing for 5 years and began submitting his work 3 years ago. He has been published in Time Magazine, The Wall Street Journal, La Opinion, OC Weekly, and the La Habra Journal. He regularly contributes to La Opinion, Zuma Press, the Whittier Daily News, and the San Gabriel Valley News. Welcome to the show, William.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
What began your interest in photography?
What started in high school around 6 years ago. And I wanted to be a bit more expressive with not with writing or doing science, so I started photographing around my neighborhood, and I think it led up to what I do now.
And what made you want to become a photojournalist?
When I transferred to CSUF, I became interested in wanting to do something involving and be more informative, and I think photojournalism was a way to inform the people and get the people to see what's going on in the world.
That's wonderful. So tell us about one of your most recent assignments.
One of my most recent assignments was with La Opinion at the border in Tijuana, which was covering the Tijuana River. It was a pretty intense assignment with, it was right before Christmas too, so it was a pretty delicate situation for the people living in the river.
And we also heard you were going to Guatemala later this year. Could you tell us a little bit of what you're going to do on that trip?
Yeah, we're going to go along with 11 to 12 journalists, writers, other photojournalists, and broadcast journalists too, to report on a medical mission that has been going there for about, I think, more than 10 years now. We're reporting stories and going along with a medical mission to be their assistants too.
Wow, that sounds like an incredible experience. William, what would you say is your biggest achievement so far in your work with photography?
Well, I think one of my biggest achievements was just being able to be published in a paper that was my first language, was La Opinion, and that started around a year ago. I think that's one of my biggest accomplishments to this day.
Awesome. And finally, what is your dream publication to work with?
Well, there's a couple, but I think Time Magazine would probably be the one that I would want to be working for the most.
Well, that's awesome. Good luck to you on your trip, William. Thank you for coming into the show. So when we come back, we have sports with the Seattle Seahawks walking away with their first ever franchise championship, Super Bowl 48.
And a real-life castaway makes the news.
Hey!
Ready to go?
Yeah, but the fire's not out.
It's close enough.
Close enough? If it's too hot to touch, it's too hot to leave. I mean, the next thing you know, you've torched our whole neighborhood.
Which is why we're not going anywhere?
Exactly. 9 out of 10 wildfires are caused by humans.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
You are watching Titan TV.
In sports news, the Seattle Seahawks dominated the Super Bowl 48. Team USA is preparing for the Winter Olympic Games, and Cal State Fullerton's basketball and baseball teams are gearing up for homecoming week. Here's Alexis Moffett with your sports update.
Well, this has definitely been an exciting week in sports. For the first time, the Los Angeles Kings and Anaheim Ducks played outside in front of a huge crowd at Dodger Stadium in Los Angeles. The Ducks were able to beat their longtime rivals for the second match in a row with a final score of 3-0. The Seattle Seahawks won their first ever Super Bowl on Sunday by defeating the Denver Broncos. CNN's Laura Baldassara has the story.
Well, the confetti has certainly fallen, and the Seattle Seahawks have their first Super Bowl in franchise history, and this one was an absolute rout. You know, I think that the 12th man, it might have had a little extra magic in that number tonight. 12 seconds into this game is when Seattle scored, got on the scoreboard first. 12 seconds is all it took for them to get 2 points, the fastest score in Super Bowl history, that with a safety. And 12 seconds into the second half, Percy Harvin ran it 87 yards for a touchdown. And it really just seems so fitting that it had to be Percy Harvin in the Super Bowl, in the biggest game of the season, the only game that he actually played a full game in. You know, this is a guy that since he signed with Seattle, moving from Minnesota, he's dealt with injuries all season long. First it was a hip injury, and then it was a concussion, and it was that concussion that actually put him on the questionable list when the official injury list came out earlier this week. Other questions of note were whether or not Seattle, with not one player on their roster with Super Bowl experience, would be overwhelmed by this game. And the answer, well, it was clearly no. In fact, they completely overwhelmed the very experienced Denver Broncos. And really, who would have thought that at all? Now, there were certainly some questions and some criticisms over Peyton Manning. People saying, you know, this guy isn't a cold weather player. This guy isn't a player that shows up in big games. Tonight was really Peyton Manning's night to prove all of that. And you know what? He really did not manage to do so. But at the end of the day, it is the Seattle Seahawks who are the Super Bowl 48 champions.
The 2014 Sochi Winter Olympics will begin this Thursday. 3 events will take place before the opening ceremony held on February 6th. They include figure skating, freestyle skiing, and snowboarding. This is the first time that the Russian Federation has hosted the Games. In Cal State Fullerton news, the women's tennis team will resume play this week after a 2-match losing streak. The Lady Titans hosted Hawaii today and will travel to Loyola Marymount on Sunday for a match at 11 a.m. Homecoming week will kick off on Monday, February 10th. The events will lead up to the men's basketball game versus Hawaii on Saturday, February 15th at 6 p.m. in the Titan Gym. Titan Baseball will also have its 2014 season opener at Goodwood Field on Friday, February 14th. The game will start at 7 p.m. The National Collegiate Baseball Writers Association recently selected the team as #1 in their preseason Division I poll. Those are your sports updates this week. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Alexis. So scientifically speaking, an apparent castaway story is plausible, but that hasn't stopped many people from questioning whether it's actually true. The man's claims to have spent more than a year adrift on the Pacific Ocean eating birds, turtles, and raw fish to survive.
CNN's Jean Moose reports the castaway has been treated with some food and drink and a haircut.
After 13 months adrift without a water supply, the apparent castaway was back on land holding a Coke. He spoke through a Spanish translator as if he were talking to aliens, using gesture after gesture to describe dreaming about food and contemplating suicide because he was so hungry. What were the foods he craved most?
Tortilla, huevo, eggs, pollo, chicken, agua, water.
He seemed mentally shaken and exhausted, but when a light started to fall, he was quick to react. No one asked whether he talked to anything, the way Tom Hanks talked to his volleyball, Wilson.
We might just make it. Did that thought ever cross your brain?
When the real castaway, Jose Salvador Alvarenga, left Mexico on a one-day fishing trip, he was with a teenage fisherman. After their boat was blown off course, Alvarenga says his companion refused to continue eating raw food and eventually died. Throughout what would be a 5,700-mile journey, Alvarenga says he survived on fish, birds, and turtles.
How did he catch a turtle?
Well, it wasn't exactly like when the flying fish dropped from the skies in The Life of Pi. But Alvarenga says the turtles did come banging against the boat.
Boom, boom.
So that all he had to do was grab them. Skeptics abound, tweeting out, "That's one chubby castaway," and "Looks like he's been scoffing turtle burgers and chips." Doctors say he seems to have liver problems and edema, swelling, which could make him appear bloated. But we really don't know if the entire story is true. The hardest part, he said, was during long periods without rain, when he had to resort to drinking his own bodily fluids. He finally washed up on a coral island among the Marshall Islands. He was stark naked when he yelled at 2 residents. The BBC quotes witnesses as saying his boat was covered in sea animals with a dead turtle and fish remains inside. During the interview, he kept touching his long hair. Well, it wasn't long until the Marshall Islands immigration chief treated him to a haircut and a shave. All that hair, like a bad memory, cast away. Jeannie Moe, CNN, New York.
That's going to do it for us here at OC News. I'm Rebecca Walzak.
And I'm Meg Tragan. See you on the next edition of OC News.